Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Venice, which we call UCOV. My name is Janet Knudsen, and I'll be subbing for Eileen Leapley today as your worship associate. At UCOV, we work to bring a message of hope and grace to an imperfect world. No matter who you are or where you're from, you're welcome here. We welcome those who have some of the answers and those who have none of the answers, and those who aren't even sure they're asking the right questions. As a UUA-recognized welcoming congregation, we welcome and affirm all people, regardless of who they love or what pronouns they use. Please join us for refreshments and conversation on the lanai after the service. And while you're there, find out more about our church. We're glad that you've chosen to be with us today. Is there anyone here visiting with us for the first time who might want to stand and tell us your name and where you're from? Jean will bring you a microphone. Aha, somebody in the back row.
Hi, my name is Susan Wetzel, and I've been attending Unitarian Universalist since I moved to Florida from Maryland about 10 years ago. But I have been a former member of the Towson University Church in Maryland.
Well, welcome. Thanks for coming today.
Susan, thank you. I'm a fellow Marylander, so especially nice to meet you. We'll talk later.
Anyone else visiting with us for the first time? Anyone who's just returned from some travels that we want to welcome back? The only announcement I have today is mat making is Saturday from 10 to 12. Kind of a shameless plug since I'm the one who co-chairs that group. 10 to 12 in Waters Hall on Saturday. If you're looking for something to do, please join us, and coffee and muffins are always served. Does anyone have any other announcements?
Just a quick one, if you can repeat it. The toilet seat in the bathroom there is very loose. Be careful.
Oh. Did you hear that, or do I need to repeat that? Be careful if you're in there. The seat is loose. We're now entering sacred space, so please silence your cell phones. We light this chalice and we say, "Come sit by the fire and share your songs. May they sound in our hearts and minds and allow us to know one another a little better. May they change the world." Lisa will now play the prelude.
Boy, that's a tough act to follow, isn't it? Good morning, everyone. I am so glad to see you all here today on this lovely misty morning. I was out about 5 a.m. with my first cup of coffee, and the mist was so beautiful. It was amazing. Some things speak to us beyond words, and they reach us in places where logic can't go. Direct experience is one of our 6 sources, and today we're going to be talking about music and how it can reach us in some deep and personal and transformative ways that take us out of our heads and into our hearts and our bodies. So come and let us worship here together. UCOV is a welcoming, caring community open to anyone who respectfully enters here. We encourage spiritual growth, seek meaning, and pursue justice together. So please join me now in reading the words of our covenant, the promise of how we will be with one another, and it's on the back of your sheet. In a climate of joy, goodwill, and trust, this congregation covenants to treat one another with kindness and respect, to listen with openness and acceptance, to support and protect the environment of which we were all a part, to solve problems responsibly as we grow and change, to encourage learning and nurture the growth of diverse human spirits, and to dedicate time, talent, and resources in an effort to make a difference in local and world communities. In the spirit of our free religious heritage, we promise these to one another. Please rise and body your spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, number 203. All creatures of the earth and sky. Will do verses 1 through 3. This is the time in our service where we gather our offering, and our offering words, as always, are offered with levity because giving should never hurt. A brand new UU minister took a brand new congregation in the backwoods of Florida. He had been warned before he went to be careful and told that the people in the area were the cheapest and meanest he would ever encounter. A little frightened, he went anyway, and the first Saturday he went for a walk near a swamp. Out in the water, he noted a boat with several of his new congregants. They were whooping and laughing, and with a shock, he noted that the man skiing behind the boat appeared to be none other than the former pastor that he had replaced. "Well, I'll be," he said quietly, "even after he quit because they wouldn't raise any money. They're so kind. They're taking him out skiing like that. What sweet and generous people. Maybe I won't have to worry about fundraising after all." And he was still smiling when an old game warden wandered up. "What are you doing out here, Pastor?" the warden asked. "These are dangerous parts." "Dangerous?" the pastor scoffed. "Those are my congregants out there, and that the former pastor. Look what they're doing. Isn't that nice?" There was a long moment as the warden watched the boat zip by a time or two. And at last he said, "I don't know what you think they're doing, Pastor, but down here we just call it alligator fishing." I know, that's a groaner. This morning's offering will now be given and graciously received with no fishing of any kind needed. Thank you so much for these gifts and for everything you do for the life and the work of this community. Because it's as a community of human hands and human hearts that we come together here to bear witness to one another and to minister as we struggle with life's sorrows and we celebrate life's joys. At this time of sharing, you can raise a hand and someone will bring you a microphone. Please share only those stories that are yours to tell. As always, you can come up before or at any other time during the service and light a candle on the candle table. During Joys and Concerns, we will light them for you. And I have the first one this morning. You might notice that Steve and Eileen Leapley are not with us this morning. They are fine. Steve had a stomach ache last night and ran up to the ER to make sure it wasn't his appendix. And it wasn't. He's okay. They're letting him out this morning. They just kept him over tonight to keep an eye on him. They're fine. He does not want calls or cards or anything else. They were afraid if we didn't mention it, everybody'd think it was worse than it was. He's perfectly fine. A little grumpy, I'm sure. But does anybody else have a joy or concern for the day?
This is Pam Palmer. My joy is a week late, but we weren't here last Sunday, and we celebrated our 4th anniversary, and many of you here were at our wedding in Maxine Barrett Park, and we're looking forward to our 5th year, but not our 50th. We don't think we'll make it.
Hi, I'm Carol Wolfers. We're longtime members of the church here. And I just want to report that our dear friend Steve Batchelor is going to be laid up for a little while. He's having surgery on Monday for his rotator cuff. So I know he'll never tell, but.
Please hold in your thoughts and prayers Eileen from our office. She is at the ER at the moment with her dad, who is not feeling very well at all, so keep him in your thoughts and your prayers. May the love of this community hold all who need love and concern, and may the light of our community shine on the broken places of the world. May we never look away when we're needed. May those who are grieving be comforted, and those who are tired find rest. May the broken places be healed, and may those who are filled with joy and laughter be abundant.
Our first reading is So This Is For Us by Charlotte Erickson. So this is for us. This is for us who sing, write, dance, act, study, run, and love. And this is for doing it, even if no one will ever know. Because the beauty is in the act of doing it, not what it can lead to. This is for the times I lose myself while writing, singing, playing, and no one is around, and they will never know. But I will forever remember, and that shines brighter than any praise or fame or glory I will ever have. And this is for you who write or play or read or sing by yourself with the light off and door closed, when the world is asleep and the stars are aligned. And maybe no one will ever hear it or read your words or know your thoughts, but it doesn't make it less glorious. It makes it ethereal, mysterious, infinite, for it belongs to you and whatever God or spirit you believe in, and only you can decide how much it meant and means and will forever mean. And other people will experience it too, through you, through your spirit, through the way you talk, through the way you walk and love and laugh and care. And I never meant to write this long, but what I want to say is, don't try to present your art by making other people read or hear or see or touch it. Make them feel it. Wear your art like your heart on your sleeve, and keep it alive by making people feel a little better, feel a little lighter. Create art in order for yourself to become yourself, and let your very existence be your song, your poem, your story. Let your very identity be your book. Let the way people say your name sound like the sweetest melody. So go, create, take photographs in the wood, run alone in the rain, and sing your heart out high up on a mountain where no one will ever hear. And your very existence will be the most hypnotizing scar. Make your life be your art, and you will never be forgotten. For our meditation reading, Michael Bassey Johnson writes, "Music replays the past memories, awakens our forgotten worlds, and makes our minds travel." With these words in mind, please join me in 1 minute of silent thought, meditation, or prayer. We have a change from your program today. Our interlude will be Gymnopody by Eric Satie.
You're going to see a video in just a minute that some of you are going to love and some of you are going to absolutely hate. Years ago, Simon and Garfunkel came out with The Sound of Silence, and it was a beautiful melody and words that compelled you to think about the message. And today we're going to hear another version of that song, same melody. It's done by the group Disturbed. We're going to see the video. The original version played on the contrast between the beautiful, beautiful flowing melody and the words designed to make you think about what was going on with the Vietnam War and the power struggles in our country. But it wanted you to think. This version wants to grab your emotions by the throat. If you've never heard the original, Google it tonight. But this is The Sound of Silence, two completely disparate interpretations and emotional approaches. So if you would, hit it.
Our second reading is Question by Lawrence Rademakers. This is a profound mystery which I cannot begin to ponder. Perhaps you can help. Think of it. Technically speaking, music is just a collection of sounds interspersed by silence. But every human being knows pieces of music that really touch him or her emotionally. These emotions can be very strong and transport you to another place. How is it possible that a mere collection of sounds gets associated in our brain with memories, experiences, emotions, stories, images, feelings? A particular piece of music or even a fleeting succession of a few notes can move us to tears. Why is that? It's totally bizarre. I don't understand. It makes no sense as far as I can see. Apparently, there's no utilitarian or economic value to music. Apparently, there's no biological or evolutionary advantage. We are hunters and gatherers. With some brutally uttered noises, we should get by well while hunting mammoths and elephants. In any case, how can we ever explain the fact that music touches us and generates feelings that can touch our entire body and make us shiver? Please rise now in body or spirit and join in singing hymn number 108, My Life Flows On in Endless Song.
When I listen to Disturbed's version of The Sound of Silence, it makes me think about what is going on with the rise of Christian nationalism, the various neon gods that are currently being put up as the new way, the Messiah, the truth, the light. All of the ears hearing facts and not hearing a word. Sound is powerful. How many of you have some piece of music that when you hear it, you are instantly brought back to where you were when you last heard that music? Got a bunch. I'm seeing a lot of head nods. I've had people say, I will never forget, I was listening to the radio when JFK was killed. Others when the Twin Towers fell, when they got married, when their baby was born, what was on in the delivery room. You might as well be back there. It's so strong. And the music itself might be almost meaningless. It doesn't matter what the song is. That's the interesting part. But something about it pulls you back there. Because music is woven around what it means for us to be human. The first music was created in prehistory. Sticks or antlers slamming on rock or bone, mimicking a heartbeat. The very first drums were created in China. Some say 5,500 BCE, others say 6,000 before the Common Era. 4,200 years later, about 34 centuries ago, somebody wrote the very first hymn. And it was called Hurrian Hymn Number 6. You can actually Google this one. They have played it. They have tried to play this. It sounds very alien to our ears today. Of course, people being people, it was all about fertility, dedicated to the moon goddess, Nikal. By the 2nd century, somebody wrote the first hymnal. In our gray hymnal, number 20, the words to that, Be Thou My Vision, those were written in 600 CE. Humans are built to make music, and we don't know why. Is all music meaningful or useful? Oh my gosh, no. Anybody who has sat through a version of She Bangs by, what's his name, Leonard Hung, or What Does the Fox Say, or Baby Shark, you know that all music isn't good. Some music is just horrible. But we are music-making animals, and music can reach down inside and grab us by the nervous system. Music can be a direct experience of transcending mystery and wonder, affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit. When people talk about our sources, and they talk about that direct experience of transcending mystery and wonder, a lot of the time it's a story about being out in nature. And people will talk about hiking or camping or going out to look at the sunset. The stories would have made complete sense to Thoreau or Ralph Waldo Emerson. Nature has a way of creating her own cathedrals. We know that. Nature is beautiful. But today we're talking about human-created music. Artist Jean-Michel Basquiat said, "Art is how we decorate space. Music is how we decorate time." And I thought that was amazing. Just like art, there are pieces of music that don't impact our lives a lot, whether they're good or bad. Elevator music, theme songs to TV shows, hold music. This stuff might be good, but it has very little impact on us. It's just sort of an aural backdrop. We listen to it casually, and casual listening is hearing without impact. I'd be willing to guess every one of you, when you hear the hold music that you've heard at your doctor's office 100 million times, when you hear it the next time, you can kind of hum along because you sort of remember it from the last 76 times. But not one of you could hum it now because it's just casual listening, no real impact. Reverend Sarah Schur says, you might know the old joke about where Unitarians go after we die. We don't go to a heaven, we go to a book discussion group about a heaven. We have a pretty well-deserved reputation as folks who would rather theorize about paradise than experience it. And this translates often into our approach to music and church. We go with the head and not the heart. There's another old joke that says, why don't you use sing well? It's because we're always reading ahead to see if we agree with the next line of the hymn. Institutionally, now I'm not talking about individual churches or people, but institutionally, we generally think about what we're singing or hearing. We listen to the words to see if we agree. This is called perceptive listening. It's more involved than casual. It implies some kind of rational relationships to the words. It involves analysis. You're thinking about what you're hearing. Other faiths don't use music this way, some of them. You all may have seen the mega churches on television. You may have seen evangelical and Pentecostal services or Hasidic Jewish services where the music is pure emotion. It is often repetitive. It's designed to cause intense emotion in that moment. They want you to have a peak experience. They want you to have a transformative experience listening to the sounds. And we're not talking about the same way that we appreciate Lisa's lovely music. We sit here and we listen to gorgeous classical music. We might even be swept away. It's beautiful. We might hit a transcendent moment, and then we come right back to thinking. We almost get there. Some other religions, that's the whole service, is that transcendent space. Dr. Robert H. Woody said, the notion of peak experience, first advanced by Abraham Maslow, who we've talked about before, refers to mental states where people have strong feelings of wonder, enthrallment, or ecstasy. This is the condition that underlies our first source. Direct experience of something amazing, something visceral. This is not a house cat of an experience. This is a tiger. This is an experience that sweeps you away. And in that minute, that musical experience becomes a religious experience, not because of the wisdom of the words. It's all experiential. It's all primal. In 2011, psychologist Alf Gabrielson, and I just love his name, Alf Gabrielson, he reviewed the current research on strong experience with music, including trance states, transcendental, religious experience, and even synesthesia, actually seeing music. He and Alexander Lamont both noted that these strong or peak experiences with music were influenced by the music, the person, the situation, with the effect being strongest in the presence of live music or social interaction. So full sensory stimulation. Dr. John Whaley said, now and then people may have exceptional experience with music, peak experiences. The music absorbs the listener and shuts out everything else. The experience, moreover, is influenced by personal, situational, and other factors which may lead to a new view on music and what it can mean for well-being and health If you've ever been to a concert, stage musicians try desperately to cause these states of being. Some of you may remember when the Beatles were still touring, and you'd see the videos of people screaming and shaking their heads and crying. And when Elvis first started touring, it was ridiculous. Today, you see it with Taylor Swift and Beyonce. Arms flailing, people crying. Religious movements like the chanting of kirtan, the repetitive music of the Breslauer Hasidim, the praise songs of the Christian evangelicals. It's all designed to make you stop thinking and start feeling. We cut our teeth as a denomination on folk music, which was all about thinking. If anybody thinks Bob Dylan has an amazing voice, I want to talk to you later. We learned that thinking about what the lyrics were was the important bit. And I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying we may have thrown the baby out with the bathwater. None of the truly rational ways of interacting with music create that peak religious experience. You don't get peak through analysis. You don't find it by sorting through songs until one comes up that hits a button in your soul that says, have a religious experience now. So I played the Simon and Garfunkel song for you. The original of that song was written in '66, and in '67 it was used on the soundtrack of Dustin Hoffman's The Graduate. So all of a sudden it was everywhere, and Vietnam was at its height. And the song was beautiful. But by 1974 it had kind of vanished into elevator music. Today, you could play that original song in almost any church in the country, and people go, oh, yeah, that's pretty. It wasn't written to be pretty. It was written to kick you in the butt and make you think about the war. When you see the Disturbed version, and you think about the election and everything that's happening in our country, it kicks you in the butt all over again in a different way. Music grows and evolves. And here's the thing, the heart knows what the heart wants. Your life and your journey will decide for you if you want to hear the Barney theme song or AC/DC, Kebmo, How Great Thou Art, Beyonce. Your heart will tell you what wants to move you from casual listening to something deeper and stronger. And it's okay. It's okay if what your heart wants to listen to academically makes no sense to you. You can come from Jewish heritage and want to spend your time listening to Christian hymns. You can have come from a Christian background and spend all your time listening to kirtan. The words are in Sanskrit. I guarantee nobody knows what they're talking about. But there's something in it. I have no intention of installing a jumbotron and committing everyone to an hour of praise music every week. So you can take a deep breath. We're all good. But what I am suggesting is don't hobble yourself. Don't hobble yourself. You may be a staunch atheist and catch yourself singing Amazing Grace and enjoying every moment of it. Take the time to explore and experiment with the phenomenon of peak experience. At your leisure, find music that speaks to your heart rather than to your analytical side. Look for music that maybe you've overlooked. Be willing to have the experience, even if the music is something you would rationally discard as being too trite, or too religious, too politically incorrect, too darn silly. Let it move you. Add video if you like. Go to see a live performance in a packed crowd. Accidental peak experiences through music have already happened to you. But you can choose to mindfully look for more sounds that create those strong feelings of wonder and enthrallment and ecstasy as a religious practice. Just because we don't do it typically here doesn't mean that you should remove that option from your religious inner life. If you have the internet, try Spotify online. Find some new music. Explore some recordings of ancient chants or kirtan, or the Mormon Tabernacle Choir or bagpipes. Check out rap. Listen for the Hasidic Rabbi Nachman song. It is amazing. You will laugh yourself silly, but it's quite enjoyable. Go to YouTube. Look for a band called Shell, S-H-E-L, doing a cover of Enter Sandman. Search for those sublime moments that get you out of your head and into your heart, even if it's only while sitting in your recliner. And if you find any great music, share it. Tell other people. We're always looking for a few good tunes. Amen. We extinguish this chalice, but we carry its light forward in the music of our lives. We're going to finish this week with number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. Please rise in body or spirit. Join in singing our closing hymn, number 21. Go out in joy, ready to hear and to experience the music of the world. Peace, Ashe, and may it be so.